願いします。お願いします。準備運動。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。Circling the knees. Knees up. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。反対。Alright, down for 3. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。はい。それと1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。はい。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。はい。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。はい。Wash okay? 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。はい。Twisting. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。はい。And down. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。はい。Gripping. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10。Wrists. approach. So we're going to do all 5 directions. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju. Looking. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju. Down. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju. Rolling the shoulders out, shaking with the arms. So just a few small arm circles. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju, ju ich, ju ni, ju san, ju shi, ju go, ju ru, ju sich, ju hach, ju ku, ni ju hantai. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju, ju ich, ju ni, ju san, ju shi, ju go, ju ru, ju sich, ju hach, ju ku, ni ju. Turning hands over. Ich, ni, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju, ju ich, ju ni, ju san, ju shi, ju go, ju ru, ju sich, ju hach, ju ku, ni ju hantai. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju, ju ich, ju ni, ju san, ju shi, ju go, ju ru, ju sich, ju hach, ju ku, ni ju. All right, letting them down. Turning from your hips a little bit. All right, walking down push-ups. So we're gonna get down. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju. Hey. All right, Dante. Good. All right. To the stance drill. Toes and heels together. Hei sokodachi. Subidachi. Hei kodachi. Hidari sanchindachi. Shi kodachi hanmi. Zen kutsudachi. Neko ashidachi. Kosadachi. Pivot. Miki sanchindachi. Pivot again. Hidari sanchindachi. All right, so hopefully we find the relationship there. All right, so Kyosuke. Kihon. Blocking posture. Sanchindachi. Maite. All right, so we put the right leg forward for blocking posture. Hidari comes back. Chudanuke. We're going to do 10 slow, 10 fast. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju. All right, so that's some faster ones. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju. And out. Arigatou gozaimashita. All right, blocking posture, sanchindachi. Okay, so we're ready. There it comes back, and we're going to open the hands. So if you know the kakyuke, or if that's part of the practice that you are involved in, you can do the kakyuke, trying to keep our fingers together and pointed toward the ceiling, so nothing out to the side, right? We're straight up. So it's the same motion that we did before, but the hand is open. Right? All right, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ru, sich, hach, ku, ju, hey. All right. So if kakyuke is part of the practice and you want to continue, we'll do another set of 10. If you're not working on kakyuke yet, just stick with this, the same block we did before. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, sit, hach, ku, ju, hey. And out. Right, hands and feet. Arigatou gozaimashita. Good. So, blocking posture. So again, I'm going to move my right foot, right? Blocking is the right thing to do. Zenkutsudachi. So we're going to make it a little longer this time. Right, and your arms come up. Head comes back. So joranuke. So this one goes over our head. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, sit, hach, ku, ju. Continue. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, sit, hach, ku, ju. Hey! And out. All right, blocking posture. Shikudachi. My tape. Heart comes back. Right, Toshi, right? So it goes up. They wrap around and down. Up. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Ro. Sit. Hach. Ku. Ju. Hey. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Ro. Sit. Hach. Ku. Ju. Hey. And out. Arigatou gozaimashita. All right, so those were our basic, most of the basic blocks. Right, kakyuke thrown in. We're going to add two more. All right, so blocking posture. So I'm just going to come to heikodachi and then drop one. All right, so jageyuke. All right, so two blocks at the same time. This sometimes confuses with the low block, where we have to remember low block, we have to chamber it. Now this time, two hands are going to be out. So this is a very useful exercise. Jageyuke, right? It shows up starting in Saifa. So jageyuke, ich, ni. So the upward hand is on the outside with this particular expression. Ni, san, shi, go, ro, sit, hach, ku, ju, hey. All right, a little faster. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, sit, hach, ku, ju, hey. All right, jageyuke. Right, so we get two. And out. Arigatou gozaimashita. All right. So now I said we were going to do two, and so jageyuke being one. Usually mwashuke is the other. So we'll make that one the other. All right, so we did some of that during our Jumyundo already. Let's do it again. So this time we do it with our open hands. Right, remember, we do this in 4 parts. Right, so the first part, the top hand comes straight back. And see that it comes straight back. Right, I had a tendency for a long time to kind of start the motion. Right, but the idea is there's something that's been maybe caught here, and I'm trying to catch it with the other hand, and I don't want to let it get in my way. So first part, straight back. Second part is basically the kakyuke. Third part, that hand is going to turn over and pull back, and then fourth part, we see the 4 fingers on the other hand. Right, that one turns over. Ideally, 3 and 4 would happen basically at the same time, but remember, we're kind of breaking this down so we can remember it. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I think we've got it. Let's go a little bit faster. Ich, ni, pull all the way back. San, shi, go, ro, sit, hach, ku, ju, hey. All right, one more set. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, sit, hach, ku, ju, hey. All right, now good. So 6 blocks: Churanuke, Kakyuke, Joranuke, Parayatoshi, Jagi Uke, and Mawashi Uke. All right. So we're going to work on putting those with a little bit of footwork. A little bit of footwork. All right, so to start with, we're going to come into a blocking posture, Sanchendachi, right? So I put the right foot forward for now, and I basically have right hand. So we're going to do this 2 different ways on the 2 different sides, and it's not going to be that much different, but our first set is going to be forward, Chudanuke, back, Chudanuke. All right, so we've got that part. So on the count, we'll go forward, back one, each. Ni, san, shi, go, ro, sich, hach, ku, ju, hey. All right, now, I didn't mention it, but hopefully you're remembering to check your sanchin steps each time. Okay, so we want to use a little hangetsu. We start Nigi Sanchendachi, and we ended Hidari Sanchendachi, and then we went back, right? In and out. So, I'm on the carpet, but if we think about this, if we were in the grass, right, or in the sand, you'd see this nice path kind of being carved in the ground a little bit. So, not that you want to rip up the grass, but the point is you'd kind of see the track. Maybe some carpet will show it too, but back and forth, right? In and out. So we're going to do it again, a little bit faster. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, sich, hach, ku, ju, hey. All right, so now we're going to switch sides, and we're going to open the hands. If kakyuke is a part of your practice. If it's not, don't worry about it. Now, for some of you, this might feel a little bit strange. Maybe not. All right, so we're going to step, kakyuke, and we'll step back. Some of you know right where this comes from. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, sich, hach, ku, ju, hey. All right. So just checking everything out again. Again, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, sich, hach, ku, ju, hey. And out, hands and feet. Arigatou gozaimashita. All right. So these exercises are meant to kind of challenge us, right? We're trying to put our whole body together, right? And part of the focus for today, or the idea, is we're going to do the blocks a little bit more repetitively, right? When we're not in the dojo a lot, right? Maybe some of these things start to get out of condition, right? And the most important thing to be conditioning is our blocking, right? The way that it holds, the way that we support our shoulders and our arms. Okay, because karate is a defensive art, and if we can't block, we need to be able to move our body, we need to be able to punch and kick. These other things are important as well, but the blocks, right? Blocks. Okay, so we're going to do Joranuke. With that one, I'm going to start Heikodachi. All right, so this time I'm going to shift. So I've moved to my right, but I'm actually going to pivot into a Sanchendachi and block to my left. All right, so I'm going to come back to the middle, and I'm going to do that again, right? Let's move right, pivot, and block on my left. Right, so kind of the picture, if you can see something moving towards you, right? So try and envision this. So in this time when we don't have partners to practice with, envision a partner, see something, right? So that partner's in front of you, right? You're going to block with your left hand. They're actually going to step forward and punch with their left hand. So you're going to move and block to their outside, right? So we want to kind of close things up. Just like if you're going to think about the very beginning of Geikisai Daiichi, right? So you can think. All right, so I'm just basically starting in a relaxed position. If you want to put bunkai in your brain here, this is kind of the idea. But I'm going to move, I'm going to block, and then I'm going to return. All right, so I'm going to try and alternate the two sides so that we can kind of keep going. So I'm going to move to my left, but block right. All right, come back. So I'm trying to reset in the middle each time. moving left, I'm sorry, moving right, blocking left first. Ich, and return. Ni, return. Sam, return. Shi, return. Go, return. Ro, return. Sich, return. Hutch, ku, ju, hey! All right, so we'll go a little bit faster, maybe. It's not necessary to go faster. Just keep in mind the idea that we're trying to get out of the way, be able to deliver a good block, and then we're going to return, right? All right. Ich, ni, sam, shi, go, ro, sich, hutch, ku, ju, hey! All right. So Joranuke. So we did Shuranuke, Kakyuke, Joranuke. Geiranuke is left, Ryatoshi, right? All right, so we're going to take Shikadachi Hanmi. Here's one. I'm going to move forward one and back one, right? Now, in fact, I did this on Shikadachi Hanmi, but I want to shift gears, actually. I want to do it on the 90 degree. Right, that might be a little bit more difficult to see in the camera, but I want to think about this, how it comes from Seiunchin Kata, where we step straight in, and there's a low block, and then a low block, right? And I want to be on the exact same line, right? So we're going to step through straight on. All right, so those of you that know Seiunchin Kata will know right where this fits. If you don't know Seiunchin Kata, that's fine. You don't need to know it to work on developing the straight line. Right now, unfortunately, well, if I start on this tape spot, right, I can think about stepping to one, stepping basically to the other, finding that diagonal. Does that help? All right, so I am actually going to step across, right? One, and then I'm going to come back. Right, so however you're able to develop a relatively straight line, just what we're watching for, sometimes what happens is people will swing their hips around. And we want to use the hips, but it's not a swing. Right, so I want to step straight through and then pivot. I'm going to step straight back and pivot again. All right, so we'll start slowly, maybe just with the step. Right, step in. Right, so notice my hips are still pretty much in the direction of travel, whatever that happens to be. We're going to unwind and then straight back, still hips square, and then we open. Right, let's do it one more time. Step in, low, step back, unwind. Right, and hopefully you're seeing, hopefully you're seeing that I'm staying roughly the same height as I go through that exercise. Right, so we're not trying to go up and down, right? So if you as you watch, just see if we can stay at the same height. All right, so I'm going to do the best I can to block. If you think about Seiunchin, we come from here, step in one, and back, each, knee, sam, shi, go, ro, sich, hutch, ku, ju, hey! All right, so then we're going to go on to the other side, right? Same basic idea. Again, I'm going to step forward, low, step back, low. All right, one more time with just the step. So I'm moving to my front left. Doesn't really matter where you're headed, just so long as we're kind of making sure we get both sides here. So I step forward with my right, so my hips are still square. I'm going to pivot. This is where the low block will come. And then square up, step straight back, unwind again. All right, so in the kata. So there's a couple of different places that this shows up in Seiunchin Kata, but for now, we'll think of the first set, or now the second set, right, second corner. Each, ni, sam, shi, go, ro, sich, hach, ku, ju, hey. All right. So, meant to be a little bit of fun, right? So we're working our legs a little bit, maybe working our angles some. Okay. So always remember that you try and scaffold a little bit. So we started with the basic blocks, whatever they were, and then we put them with a little bit of a step in some sense. Okay, now we're not totally done, right? We've also, Jagi Uke and Mwashi Uke are potentially yet to come. So, Jagi Uke shows up in a couple of different ways, all right? So the place where many of you might be more familiar with it than others is the way that we use it in Saifa, where we shift our body and we do Jagi Uke. Now in Saifa, the hands are open, all right? So we'll practice a little bit of balance as we do that. We're going to shift our body to one side. Now notice the hips, right? I'm moving into Zen Kutsudachi, and then I'm going to pull in and lift. You can do this with your hands open if you know the kata, or if you want to protect your fingers a little bit more, close it up. It's okay, right? So the hands are going to do the block. So it's one, and then we'll shift to the other side, right? So we get Zen Kutsudachi and knee. San. Shi. Go. Rope. Sich. Hach. Ku. Ju. Hey. All right. So that's from Saifa. Now, some of us have been working on a similar exercise in a different kata. We're not going to stand on one foot, but we're going to shift back to our 45s again. So if you can kind of see, right, so I've basically got an X on the floor, even though it's not drawn out. I have, two tape spots, one, and then two behind me. So essentially, I'm going to step in and block Jagi Uke, right? So from the middle, I'm going to go to the corner, right? So some of you will recognize what kata this comes from. That's fantastic, all right? So for now, we're just going to work those two corners. Same idea, but instead of having to worry about the balance and getting, sometimes I feel like, I don't want to worry about blocking past my leg when I lift. So we're going to shift to this particular exercise. Again, you can do it with the hands closed if you want. It's probably better to practice having your fingers protected. But in the kata, we do it with our hands open. So work with what you know. All right, so Jagi Uke again. So I'm going to step with my right foot, and I'm going to block to the right corner. Well, right, so the top hand is going to be to the right corner. Knee. Right, it's going to come back. San. Come back. Shi. Go. Rope. Sich. Hach. Ku. Ju. Hey. All right. So I want to do another little bit of that. We're going to pick up the speed just a little bit. Now, those of you that are a little bit more, have been doing this a little longer, or maybe a little more astute with how the katas are done, right, will know that we go on to the 45, and the next movement is actually going to be a pivot to the other side. So if we set up, so we get the 45, and we pivot, we're going to be square. Basically, we're 90 degrees off of our original line of travel, right? So this should be a good Zen Kutsudachi. So you can extend the exercise a little bit if you want. After here, think about pivoting and seeing if you've got a good Zen Kutsudachi. If it's too narrow or too wide, then we need to adjust that initial step, right? So this is how we develop our kihon into the kata that comes a little bit later. All right, so again, stepping, each, and we'll return. Ni, san, shi, go, ro, sich, hach, ku, ju, hey. All right, so it's always a good one to play with and see how the pivot goes. All right, so, excuse me, we have one more block that we've practiced today so far. Okay, so Muashi Uke. Now that shows up in a lot of katas, usually going to the back or to the side. All right, so for now, I'm simply going to do like we do at the end of Geisai Dai Ni. Right, so we know at the end of Geisai Dai Ni, we move back, there's one, right? So I do my Muashi Uke and the Toraguchi. And then we move and we block and we do the Toraguchi, right? So we kind of shift side to side. So we're going to generate that into an exercise of just moving left to right, kind of like we've done. So if you want to start like it is at the end of Geisai Dai Ni, that's fine. So here's our first one. And we're going to stop with the chamber. I don't want to worry about the push right now. I want to remember to pull back, right? I don't want to cut this short, have a lousy chamber, and then go out. So we're going to end with the pull and a solid chamber behind, or back as tight to the body as we can. All right, so again, each tight chamber. Now move across. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Ro. Sich. Hach. Ku. Ju. Hai. All right. So this time we'll add the Toraguchi. We'll go a little bit faster if you want to do the Toraguchi. So what I find with this, obviously, since we're used to moving the hand a little bit as we move. So once we get the first one, each. So here's my first block, right? Now we move, set it up, pivot, block, and then we push out, right? Knee. San. Shi. Go. And note when we push out, where are our hands? Where are our elbows? Sich. Hach. Ku. Ju. All right, so let's go a little faster. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Ro. Sich. Hach. Ku. Ju. Arigatou gozaimashita. All right, so the last one I slowed way down, right, because I was feeling like I was forgetting to hold my chambers back tightly. Okay, so it's always good to check back. All right, so we got through all the blocks that we did for today in Kihon. We did them with some steps. Just hopefully some different things that, some of you will be able to link these to different katas. That's fantastic. If not, as you practice the exercises in this way, at some point they'll show up in kata as you learn them. So good practice. All right, so we're going to move toward kata. So we're going to do a sanshin because it's important to always do sanshin. Okay, not necessarily saying that my sanshin is the best example, especially anyway, do the best you can. Deep breathing, right? Remember it's down here, solid stance. Onerishimasu. Sanshin daiichi. Ich. Ni. 3, 4, go. Row. Sich. Hach. Ku. Ju. Juich. Juni. Jusan. Anauti. Arigatou gozaimashita. All right, good. So Sanchin, all right, it's not super complicated. Try and practice it every day. Good luck with that. No, but please do. Sanchin is important. All right. So blocking kata, right? So this is our basic blocking kata. Actually, we're going to do 2 today just for fun. So, onegaishimasu. So blocking kata. Hajime. So we know the blocking kata. 1, 2, 3, 4, go, row, hey, and out, right? Hands and our feet. Arigatou gozaimashita. All right, so you might know, some of you may remember the 10-move blocking kata, just a way to extend it out a little bit. We get a couple of those that we added in our set earlier today. So, onegaishimasu. Blocking kata, 10 moves. Hajime. So nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, go, roke, sich, hach, ku, ju. All right, so just for fun, if you want to play with that one, it's not a requirement. It's just a little bit of an opportunity to play. All right, Geikisai H and Geikisai Ni 1 time each, and then we'll probably we'll close with some of our exercises. So Geikisai H on the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, go, rope, sich, hach, ku, hey, ju, juich, juni, hey, jusan, jushi, jugo, and out. Arigatou gozaimashita. All right. And then Geikisai Ni, for those of you that know it. If you don't know Geikisai Ni, do Geikisai Daichi again if you're comfortable with that. If that one's not working for you, for now, do the blocking kata that you know. All right, onegaishimasu. Geikisai Ni, also on count. 1, 2, 3, 4, go, rope, sich, hach, ku, hey, ju, juich, juni, jusan, hey, shi, jugo, juro, and out. Arigatou gozaimashita. All right. Good. So there are other katas. We practice other katas. But for now, those are going to be the ones that are the most important. Right? We get the basics. We get the basics. But Geikisai Daichi, Geikisai Daini, right, they take and boil down some of the important concepts. So work with those katas too. Don't overlook them. All right. So as we close out, we're going to do some push-ups. We're going to do some sit-ups, and I got one more quick exercise for us to do together. So, oh boy, I don't even know how many push-ups today. 25? I don't know. Okay, let's do it. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, go, rope, sich, hach, ku, ju, juich, juni, jusan, jushi, jugo, juro, jusich, juhach, juku, niju, nijuich, nijuni, nijusan, nijushi, nijugo, nijuro, nijusich, nijuhach, nijuku, samju. Nobody cared to tell me to stop. Sorry. All right, run our backs. Starting up. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, sich, hach, ku, ju, juich, juni, jusan, jushi, jugo, juro, jusich, juhach, juku, niju, nijuich, nijuni, nijusan, nijushi, nijugo, nijuro, nijusich, nijuhach, nijuku, samju, sanjuich, sanjuni, sanjusan, sanjushi, sanjugo, sanjuro, sanjusich, sanjuhach, sanjuku, yanju, yanjuich, yanjuni, yanjusan, yanjushi, yanjugo, yanjuro, yanjusich, yanjuhach, yanjuku, goju, gojuich, gojuni, gojusan, gojushi, gojugo, gojuro, gojusich, gojuhach, gojuku, rokuju, tate. All right, so one more quick surprise here. All right, so standing on one foot, hands, right, front kick, knees above the belt, back kick, bring back, side kick, round kick, Mai Gary, Yu Shido Gary, Yoko Gary, Mowashi Gary, Mai Gary, Yu Shido Gary, Yoko Gary, Mowashi Gary, Mai Gary, Yu Shido Gary, Yoko Gary, Mowashi Gary. And set it down. Whew. All right, other leg. So it's a balance challenge. Right, bring the other one up. Front, back, side, round. Front, back, side, round. Mai Gary, Yu Shido Gary, Yoko Gary, Mowashi Gary. One more, Mai Gary, Yu Shido Gary, Yoko Gary, Mowashi Gary. And set it down. Whew, good. All right, so some blocking practice, right? So mostly what I'm looking for with that to a degree at this point is the conditioning of the shoulders and remembering the positioning of the blocks. The punches, you know, you can be practicing those at home as well, but those are a little bit more natural in a sense to our body. Not that we don't need to condition them, but you know, the blocks, you know, are more important. Karate is a defensive art, so blocking is the right thing to do. All right, so Kyotsuke. Thank you very much for joining today. Enjoy the practice. Until next time.